Hi, Leanne Donohue-Tamplin here, and thanks for listening. Today I wanted to talk to you about why childhood sexual abuse has such long-lasting effects. So childhood sexual abuse is when a person with more authority or more power or who is older manipulates and controls a young person or a child and sexually assaults them as part of that. I'm particularly referring to abuse that happens over a longer period of time, over months or years, rather than individual incidents. That's for this podcast. So those events of individual incidents have long-term effects as well. But just to be clear, I'm talking about those longer-term, more chronic, ongoing types of abusive relationships that people have had in their childhood. So the reason why that can have such long-term effects is that the events themselves, although they have effects on their own, so the sexual acts themselves cause a lot of trauma and have a lot of trauma-type reactions for people. What also happens with those types of abusive relationships is that people are trained, victims are trained into believing that it's their fault, into feeling completely disempowered and unable to speak out about the abuse, in feeling afraid of the consequences of talking to others about it, or of being kind of found out, to being involved in this type of scenario. And they'll also feel familiar with relationships that leave them feeling manipulated and controlled. So it's a real kind of indoctrination for children who survive, or for people who survive childhood sexual abuse, really trained into thinking this certain way about themselves and about other people in the world and about their relationships with others. And those things cause long-lasting, really challenging impacts that are hard to unravel. They're not impossible to unravel, but they're challenging to unravel. And so a lot of people who've survived childhood sexual abuse have to keep working on those things for a long time to try and really stop them affecting their adult life. All right, I will talk a bit more in another podcast about the types of effects more specifically and how to address them. But for now, just to be aware that there is this grooming and training process that has longer term effects on people who've survived childhood sexual abuse. Okay, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.